I'll just do a wild guess in this video and say when ANTEC reaches a number 1000, we're going to have a new series. So, before we go into the new series, since I'm just guessing, we're having here ANTEC AX1000 addressable RGB case, which is, I think, one of the first and only. No, there's performance one, I think. But regardless of my guessing again, we're having four 140 addressable RGB fans, PWM as well. So we have three on front, one at the rear. They're all pre-connected to the hub at the back with the addressable RGB and PWM. And when we're talking about the hub, you have loads of possibilities to connect others that you just have to connect PWM and addressable RGB to the motherboard and SATA to the power for your power supply. Well, basically to power up the hub. And that's it for the fans, adjustable RGB and all the other stuff. But what's it all about when we're talking about the case? We're having a bit darker tinted tempered glass, which is just on pegs, so it's easier to remove. The back side is the same thing. We have top dust filter, we have side dust filter, even though I don't see an opening here on the side for the fans or radiator. So it's kind of awkward, but regardless of that. At the bottom for the power supply, we also have a dust filter. And on the front, we have a quite unique grille. We haven't seen it on Flux, we haven't seen it on NX series, we haven't seen it on any other. This is completely something different. And the interior, well, it's quite spacious, I do have to admit. Now, when I mentioned the fans and spacious, you would think, where does that all airflow go? Well, where it should, because the components are cool, the components do perform, and we get an outstanding scores in AIDA and Cinebench in general when we're talking about thermals. Now, this case is your regular midi-tower chassis, but it has loads of space, first and foremost because of the 140. Then we have back connect supports for back connect motherboards, and the best thing, you have loads of space at the back for cable management. You have those extrusions in the steel part to use zip ties to rearrange the cables. As you can see from a close-up, 8-pin EPS is nicely arranged. 24-pin has three plastic hooks or clips that you can quite easily use, and all the cables that you need for IO ports and everything else are already reorganized through that. So basically you already have a nice cable management inside. You just have to tuck in the 24-pin 2-pin EPS, well, not 2-pin, 2 times 8-pin EPS. And what's there left? Well, basically the GPU. The GPU cable actually surprised me, or actually the opening, because, well, it was a lucky guessing when we're talking about drilling a hole over here, because it fits my RTX 4080 Gaming Slim without any problems. So that's a quite cool thing, because the cable can go straight. In this scenario where you can see the cable is slightly on the right is because, of course, of the space inside and how the cable is organized. Now, when we're talking about fan support, you can really go bonkers here. We have 3140 or 3120. You can go with 360 radiator on top, or the same dimensions for the fans, 1140 or 1120 here on the side, and 2120 or 2140 on the power supply shroud, which is really good and kind of gives more airflow for the chassis, even though the only opening is here for the power supply. The front 140 can create additional intake for those fans on the power supply shroud, and that's basically it when we're talking about that. Now, going into the power supply shroud compartment, you have loads of space. You have literally so much space that you can really place cables everywhere, and you don't even have to care or worry about cables getting dangled up somewhere. Now, to continue with the space and everything that you have here, we have 7 expansion slots. We have possibility to place either one 3.5 and 2.5 inch SSD or hard drive, or one 3.5 inch hard drive, or two 2.5 inch SSDs. I know this question is going to be asked. No, you can't unfortunately go with 420 radiator because it simply doesn't fit. Now, for the maximum GPU clearance, this is a thick and a long card. You have space up to 420 millimeters, which is insane. CPU holder height can go up to 185, and maximum PSU length, including the cables, 240 millimeters. For the I/O connections, the access and controls, we have power button, reset button, LED control button. two USB 3.0, USB Type-C 3.2 generation 2, 10 gigabits per second, microphone, HD audio, and that's basically it. Now, as I stated, we have three 140mm fans, and Vortex LUM 360 is calling AMD Ryzen 9 7900X3D. So this can only be good, right? Well, yeah, exactly. It could be really good. Really, really good. Because the three 140 on front really do create a nice intake for the radiator and for the GPU. This is an exhaust that actually does work as well and does benefit the whole chassis, specifically since it's 140. So we're going with the AIDA64 Extreme Edition. CPU goes up to 86 degrees. Clock speed is 4800 MHz and the GPU 69 degrees. So that's good because the GPU, as you saw in past reviews, was going up to 72. This is 69. That's really good. And Cinebench R23, we have average of 10 rounds for the temperature, 80.5 Celsius degrees. Then we have 5000 clock speed throughout all 10 benchmarks. And finally the score, 26,818. That is brilliant. And you can see now the difference. So when I tested the Vortex and Vortex LUM 360 in past chassis with 120, fish tank and everything that I could come up with, we were talking about a bit lower score in Cinebench, but when we go with AX1000 addressable RGB, because of these 140mm fans and quite nice directional airflow, this is where this AIO and specifically this case benefits. So what I'm trying to say here, this isn't a premium case from ANTEC, but it definitely performs premium. It really does give your components air to breathe, and that's outstanding because you're not sacrificing literally nothing. There's also an option to rotate the GPU. As I can see, we have 4 screws here at the back for the expansion slots. So this means that you are able to rotate it. You do need the PCI riser cable, and that's it. I mean, when we go through all the specifications and details, it's a standard midi-tower chassis, but it's quite nicely designed. I do have to admit that. As I said, it's not their premium lineup. It's somewhere on the budget side, so you can expect the same price because we are talking about regular standard fans here in the chassis. We're not having P12 or P14, but in general, this is a great case if you're looking for something a bit bigger that can accommodate long cards, huge air coolers, or even just 360 AAOs, which should be enough for your processor. And in general, quite nicely designed, no flaws, just regular midi-tower case with front that looks a bit different. And yeah, that's it, guys. ANTEC AX1000 addressable RGB, spacious case, I would say, functional, very, very ventilated, and thumbs up. A thumbs up for this chassis, even though it's nothing spectacular in terms of, wow, look at this case, it has so much cool features. No, it's plain, simple midi-tower chassis that performs good, looks solid, and just simply thumbs up for that. So guys, ANTEC AX1000 addressable RGB, you can find the links all in the description. For the Vortex LUM 360, we have HCG 1000 Platinum power supply powering up the whole system, and of course the star of the show, ANTEC AX1000 addressable RGB. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, click the notification bell, and I'll see you quite shortly in a new one. Thanks for sticking by. Bye bye.